صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Azamallah ujurakum. It is requested kindly from each and everybody present at the Majlis of Imam Hussein tonight to maintain their social distances with according to the rules and regulations provided, especially with the sisters, to maintain the distances and the guidelines provided by the officials at the center very strictly, since there will be visits by the police department for inspections. از برادران و خواهران گرامی میخوایم که با برادران و خواهرانی که در مجالس امام حسین کمک میکنن و به شما میگویم که سوشال دیستنس باید است انشالله رعایت کنین، چون پلیس از اداره میایه و تفتیش میکنه و خدای نکرده سنتر ما بر کدام مشکل قرار نگیره. صلوا علی محمد و آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا أقسم بهذا البلد وأنت حل بهذا البلد ووالد وما ولد لقد خلقنا الإنسان في كبد أيحسب أن لن يقدر عليه أحد يقول أهلكت مالا لبدا أيحسب أن لم يره أحد ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين وهديناه النجدين فلاقتحم العقبة وما أدراك ما العقبة أيحسب أن لم يره أحد. ألم نجعل له عينين ألم نجعل له عينين ولسانا وشفتين وهديناه النجدين فلاقتحم العقبة وما أدراك ما العقبة فك رقبة أو إطعام في يوم ذي مسغبة يتيما ذا مقربة أو مسكينا ذا متربة ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة ثم كان من الذين آمنوا وتواصوا بالصبر وتواصوا بالمرحمة أولئك أصحاب الميمنة. صدق الله العلي العظيم. الفاتحة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك في هذه الساعة وفي كل الساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا ودليلا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا خيرة الله وابن خيرته، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا آثار الله وابن ثابت والوتر الموتور، السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بثنائك، عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار يا أبا عبد الله، يا أبا يا أبا يا أبا لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات، فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت، ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها، ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم. يا أبا عبد الله، يا أبا إني سلم لمن سالمكم، وحرب لمن حاربكم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم، وحرب إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروايا، ولعن الله بني أمية قاطبا، ولعن الله ولا أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالك. بأبي أنت وأمي، بأبي أنت، بأبي أنت، بأبي أنت. لقد عزم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها للحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله، يا أبا عبد الله، يا أبا. إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بموالاتك
وبالبراءة ممن قاتلك ونصب لك الحرب، وبالبراءة ممن أسس أساس الظلم والجور عليكم، وابرأوا إلى الله وإلى رسوله ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانا وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى شياعكم، برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم وأتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الحرب، وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. إني سر لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة، وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله، وأن يرزقني طلب ثاركم مع إمام هدى مهدي باغر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يؤتيني بمصابيبكم أفضل ما يؤتي مصابا بمصيبة مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تنال منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد محمد ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد ومماتي ممات اللهم إنا هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وابن آكلة الأكباد اللعين ابن اللعين على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعن منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم العن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم العن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتلهم. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني السلام على الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني، وابدع به أولا ثم الثانية والثالثة والرابع. اللهم العن يزيد خامسا، والعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجان وعمر بن سعد وشمران وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. السجود. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابين. الحمد لله على عظيم رزيته. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا محجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. السلام.
Please educate us on the life of Sayyid al-Shuhada and today's sorrowful day.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. أحسن الله لكم الأجر. And may Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala accept this azah from every one of us biqabul and hasan, and not make this Muharram and this observance the last observance of this sacred month of Muharram. In a hadith, Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam such states, Rahimallahu shi'atana. Shi'atuna hum wallah al-mu'minun. فقد والله شركونا في المصيبة بطول الحزن والحسرة. Says, our Shias, may Allah have mercy upon them. Our Shias, they are the mu'minun, the believers, the faithful. Indeed, they participated with us, they were with us throughout in all these sorrows and griefs, in all these huzn and hasra. Another quote from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he says that يقول إن موسى بن عمران سأل ربه قال يا رب إن أخي هارون مات. Prophet Musa, when he whispers to Allah and talks to him, says, my brother Harun has passed away. فاغفر له, forgive him, Allah. Allah says, فأوحى الله إليه يا موسى بن عمران لو سألتني في الأولين والآخرين. Not only your brother, had you asked me to forgive all those from among the foremost and the lastmost, I would have forgiven every one of them. ما خلا قاتل الحسين ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. Exception is the killer of Hussein. He I will never forgive. It is the night of pain and sorrow, and it is the aftermath of Karbala, Ashura, and a household that was all alive. Prior to this, they have all passed away. Sayyid al-Shuhada with 70 of his companions, so many of the children of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, they passed away. After this ambush, burning down of tents, atrocities, afflictions that were seen, and a day of horror it was. A day, in less than a day, everything came to an end. Regarding the day of judgment, Quran says, يَوْمَ يَجْعَلُ الْوِلْدَانَ الشِّيبَ, a day which makes everyone old, which will make a person grow old. Even the young children, you would see that due to the horror of that day, they have hunched, their hair has whitened. Says Karbala was similar, no less than that, but worse than that. Everything shattered and broke on this day of horror. Towards the night of the 10th of the month of Muharram, Zainab Kubra, who is the charge d'affaires of this caravan, and until this morning it was Abu Abdullah al-Hussein who had the custodianship and the custody of everyone. But now it is with Zainab Kubra. She is the messenger of Karbala. It has been handed over to him by Sayyid al-Shuhada. Now this Zainab Kubra, like her brother, the brother on the 9th of Muharram, he was clearing all the tents, behind the tents, to see if there are any bushes and thorns. He was clearing them with his sword. Why was he doing that? So that the next day, when it is going to be the day of Ashura, and when those Mala'in would be attacking the children and the women, and there will be an ambush, the children will be running around to save themselves, just to protect them from those thorns and bushes. Imam had cleared those bushes from behind the tents. Now that Zainab Kubra, she is performing this task. And a day like today, when she is just looking around to see if everyone is safe, finds two children of Abu Abdullah dead behind the tents. And then she sees that one of the children are missing, and that is the dearest of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and that is Ruqayya. Comes in search of her. Where is she? She couldn't find. At a distance, she sees that this Ruqayya, she is at the battlefield, and by some bodies she is there. She comes to her, says, how did you find your body, your dad's body here? She says that there is no head on the body, and also they have pounded and crushed those bodies such that it is impossible for you to find whose body is which. She says that I was calling my dad, my father, and I heard him say, I am here, Ruqayya. I followed him. Where he called me from, I came there. And also I recognized the fragrance of my father. Now that she was sitting there with Ruqayya by the body of Sayyid al-Shuhada, sees that from a distance there is someone coming towards them, towards the battlefield. Zainab, she is restless now. She goes forward and says to the rider, "Come no more, do not come forward any more, just stay where you are." Our children, they are exhausted, they can bear no more pain, and they haven't got that capacity to see anything more. Now this rider stopped and says that, "Zainab, you did not recognize who I am?" Says, "Who are you?" He uncovers his face, says that is her father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. She says, "Father, is this the time to come? Then when we were in need, where were you? Father, when Hussein was being beheaded, where were you? Father, when the camps and tents were set ablaze, where were you? Father, when those Mala'in, they came and they dragged the Abid, Hussein's son, out of the tents, where were you? When the tents were burnt down on him, where were you? When all these orphans of Abu Abdullah and other children here, when their earrings were being snatched, where were you, Father? Is this the time to come?" Now, when we look into the riwayat and the amal of Rasulullah, his seerah, we see that Rasulullah, he kissed two parts of Abu Abdullah's body, one his lips and one his neck. Also, the forehead is seen there. He used to kiss the forehead. And as a result of which, wherever Abu Abdullah sat in a majlis, it used to enlighten that majlis due to the shining and the noor of his forehead, which was a result of the kiss of Rasulullah. He used to kiss his lips, he used to kiss his neck. Now these three places, the neck and the lips and the forehead, are those three places which were the landing place of all these stones and arrows and swords and daggers. Assalamu alayk ya Aba Abdullah, where he used to say, "Uqabbilu mawdi' as-suyuf." Hussein, I kiss the places where those swords used to land. When we see it, the ziyarat, we see that to Rasulullah, when you send a salam, you say, "Assalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, Assalamu alayka ya Khatam al-Nabiyyin." Or for example, sometimes you say, "Assalamu alayk ya Sayyid al-Mursaleen," or "Assalamu alayk ya Sayyid al-Wasiyyin," ziyarat like that. But for Sayyid al-Shuhada, we have the most number of ziyarat, and also how these ziyarat are recited, they are different. There when we say salam to Abu Abdullah, Abu Abdullah, then we have a salam exclusive for his head. We have a salam exclusive for the body. We have a salam exclusive for that fractured chest of Abu Abdullah. We have a salam exclusive for that beard drenched in blood. We have a salam upon the uncovered body of Abu Abdullah. We have a salam on his head, on the spear separately. So there is this head of Abu Abdullah which was raised high on that javelin, which was taken from Karbala all the way to Sham. There we have a salam exclusive to the head of Abu Abdullah that was raised high. We have a salam that is sent, that is upon the pure blood of Abu Abdullah. Upon the place where that blood fell, we have a salam. On that pigeon that came and rubbed its wings onto the pure blood of Abu Abdullah, we have a salam. We have a salam, that blood which the angels they took with them to the heavens, we have a salam for that. That blood that gushed out on his sister's face, there is a salam for that. That blood which his white beard was soaked and dyed, we have a salam for that. So in all of these salams that we have, there is no one like Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Only and only exclusively for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Even today, that same adab is observed. We recited the maqtal today, and throughout that maqtal on 7 occasions, Imam said, "Hal min nasirin yansuruni?" Is there anyone to help me? And responding to that, when we go to Karbala, it is mustahab that you say labbaik ya da'i Allah, that is, I've come here to you, labbaik, O caller to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Assalamu ala al-mughassali bidam al-jarah, assalamu ala al-mujarra'i bika'asat al-sama', الرماح السلام على المضام المستباح السلام على المنحور في الورى. We don't have these terms for anyone. Manhur is the way how a camel is made halal and slaughtered. That is, you strike a knife in the neck of that camel. Says for Abu Abdullah that nahr was done. That is, al-manhur fil wara, in the open he was slaughtered. Assalamu ala man dafanahu ahlul qura. Salam be upon him who was laid to rest and buried by the people of the village. Assalamu ala al-maqtu' al-wateen. Assalamu ala al-muhami bila mu'een. Salam be upon this supporter who helped everyone, but no one was there to help him. Assalamu ala al-shayb al-khadib. Salam be upon this old whose beard was drenched in blood and died. Assalamu ala al-khadd al-tarib. Assalamu ala al-badan al-masloob. Salam be upon this body that was crucified. Assalamu ala al-thaghr al-maqru' bil-qadhib. And those teeth of Abu Abdullah that was so respected by the Holy Prophet, that Mal'un Yazid, he hits them with that stick. And Assalamu ala al-thaghr al-maqru' bil-qadhib. Assalamu ala al-ra's al-marfu'. Salam be upon that head that was raised high. Now, on a day like today, we recited this maqtal, and we see that there are various wida that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein has. At 7 times he says, Hal min nasirin yansuruni. That is one. And then 14 times he has a farewell with all these different shuhada of Karbala. First, ثم ذهب الحسين إلى خيام الطاهرات من آل رسول الله ونادى. He comes to the camp there where the women are there and says, Sakina, Fatima, Zainab, Kulthum, alaykunna minnis salam. Salam be upon you all. And this is our last congregation. وَقَدْ قَرُبَ مِنْ كُنَّ الْإِفْتِجَاء. So one here, Imam comes and he says farewell to them. Imam was delayed and then Umar Saad, he says that, did you come or shall I come and tear you apart? So Imam, when he went into the camps of the women, he was delayed a little bit. So this Umar Saad comes and yells at the Imam, do you come out now or shall I come and tear you apart? Imam comes out with the amama of his grandfather, of amama of the Rasulullah, and on a camel, that I have no intention to fight. ثم توجه نحو القوم. Imam looks at the nation. وقال على ما تقاتلونني. Why do you want to fight me? على حق تركته. Is there a right that I haven't abided by? أم على شريعة بدلتها. Is there a sharia that I have changed? أم على سنة غيرتها. A sunnah that I have distorted. فقالوا نقاتلك بغضا منا لأبيك. Says, we fight you due to the hate we have to your father Ali. وما فعل بأشياخنا يوم بدر وحنين. And what he did in the battles of Badr and Hunain. So here, that was that first wida Imam had with the family, with the women and children. The second wida Imam had is with his daughter Sukaina, where he comes and says, Sakina said that, قالت يا أبا استسلمت للموت. You have submitted to death. إلى من أتكل. Who do we rely on? And there Imam says, قال يا نور عيني كيف لا يستسلم للموت من لا ناصر له ولا معين. Someone who has no helper, how can he not submit to death? That was the second farewell Imam had with Sukaina. The third farewell that Imam has is with his daughter Ruqayya. Says, did not let go his Abba. Look at me, I am thirsty, she says. Fourth wida is with Ali Asghar, that when he raised the infant and then kisses him. That is that fourth wida. The fifth wida is again with Ali Asghar, that when he takes the baby, kisses it, and it's alive, and when he returns with the baby which has been killed, and now when he wants to bury the baby, he kisses the baby once again and then puts him to rest. That is another farewell and wida that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein had. Now the sixth wida Imam has is with Zainab al-Kubra, and they says that look after these women and children after me. And here one more sentence, when he left, and here she stopped. When Imam came and said farewell to the women and children, she calls and she says, stop brother, mahlan ya akhi. This mahlan, mahla, this is when Zainab Kubra, she stopped, and there she kisses the neck of Abu Abdullah, because that was the wasiyah of Hazrat Fatima salamullahi alayha. And then here Imam says, Zainab, remember me in your night prayers. The seventh wida Imam has is in Darul Hum, that is where the bodies of the shuhada were kept, excluding Hazrat Abbas and Ali Asghar and Abdullah bin Hassan. With the exception of these three shuhada, all the other shuhada were placed in one of those camps, and here Imam comes and then says, I am joining you soon. I've come to say farewell to you all. Here that was a wida with the bodies of the shuhada. Now Imam comes to the other camp where all the maids were there, including Fidda, the maid of Hazrat Fatima, comes and says farewell to every one of them. The ninth wida Imam has is with the Zuljanah, is this loyal horse of Abu Abdullah, who worked all day with Abu Abdullah, and then all this day he has been serving the Abu Abdullah with thirst. And Imam says to him that I was with you by all the bodies. Forgive me now, O loyal horse, I am departing. The 10th wida Imam has is with the shuhada, not the shuhada of Bani Hashim. That is, Imam comes and says farewell to them. So shuhada, Bani Hashim were separately kept, and the shuhada of the others, non-Bani Hashim, were placed separately. He comes and says farewell to them as well. The 11th wida Imam has comes and says, لما رأى السبت أصحاب الوفا قد قتلوا نادى أبا الفاضل أين الفارس البطل. Wida with Abu al-Fazl al-Abbas, وأين من دوني الأرواح قد بذلوا بالأمس كانوا معي واليوم قد رحلوا. You were with me until yesterday, but today none of you is with me. The 12th wida Imam has is with the Furat, the river Furat. And Imam comes to the river Furat and says, يُزْبَحُ حَوْلِكَ كِبَارُنَا. O river Furat, by you all our elders and grown-ups be killed. وَيَمُوتُ صِغَارُنَا. And all our youngsters, our children, be killed. And then the elders be slaughtered, the young be killed. عطشانا, thirsty, فَكَأَنَّكَ حُرِّمْتَ عَلَيْنَا. It seems as if you have been made haram upon us. And at this sentence the wailing of the women was heard. 13th wida Imam has is with the angels. That is, Allah sends the angels and allows them to help Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. You allow, we will destroy them all, they said, the angels. But here Abu Abdullah al-Hussein says that فَنَزَلَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ لِنُصْرَتِهِ فَلَمْ يَأْذَنْ لَهُمْ بِشَيْءٍ. He did not allow the angels to help, and that was another wida that Imam had with the angels, and says that I have an allegiance with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that I need to fulfill. The 14th wida Imam has is with the jinn, Za'far jinn, with 4,000 other jinn. They also joined, they wanted to help Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. To them as well permission wasn't granted, and Abu Abdullah al-Hussein said farewell to them. The 15th wida Imam has is with Abdullah bin Hassan, that is the 10-year-old son of Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam, who was killed and is the last shaheed before Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, who fell on his lap and Harmala, he shot an arrow which attached Abdullah bin Hassan to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhim as-salam. And the 16th wida Imam has is with his son Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, that when he hears the call of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein and he comes out of his tent, here Imam says to him, Ya waladi anta mareed, you are ill, laysa alayka al-jihad, no jihad upon you, anta al-hujjatu wal-imamu ala shi'ati, that is, you are the hujjah, you are the imam over our shi'as, wa anta abul a'imma, father of all the imams, wa kafilul aitam, you are the one who will take these orphans and you are the ones who will look after this caravan, wa anta raddu li harami ila al-Madina, and you are the one who will take back my haram and my family to Medina. Now there Imam says that when Abu Abdullah al-Hussein had raised his call for Hal min Nasirin Yansuruni, there suddenly Imam Sajjad, he opens his eyes. Now after this farewell, and when he went back to his camp, he opens his eyes and says, Aina Ammi al-Abbas, says Qad Qutil, he's been killed. Aina Qasim Qad Qutil, Aina Ali Akbar Qad Qutil. He just said, where? And everyone has been killed. Qala Ya Abatah tuqtal wa ana anzuru ilayk. Here he says that you be killed and I look at you. I wish I had died prior to seeing this day. May I be sacrificed unto you. And that was the final wida Imam has with Sayyid al-Sajideen, Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam. Now the charge of this caravan all the way through from here until the end is with Zainab Kubra. And this strong lady, this great lady, whose name is Ummul Masa'ib, that is, she's seen the Masa'ib no more, no one can see, no one has the capacity to see, no one is able to see. When she was born, the baby is given to the mother to name. She says, I can't. Gives it to her husband to name. He says, I can't. The Prophet has to name her. And the Prophet, when he comes and holds the baby, says, I can't. Allah has to name. And Jibreel descends, says, name this baby Zainab. And then Rasulullah, he cries a lot. And he unfolds the story of Karbala, what is going to unfold. And this girl, this infant, how she is going to support Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Zainab Kubra, she is such great that her hijab, her protection, her haya, her chastity, that her neighbor Yahya Mazani, he says that 7 years she was my neighbor here. I never knew if anyone existed here in my neighborhood, never seen her. Greatness, her ilm, her alqab, her chastity, her taqwa is second to none. How she is giving and so much caring towards everyone. This Zainab Kubra, who has inherited this giving and generosity from her father, from the karam of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, a time comes here in Kufa and in Sham, in the ruins of Sham, how they have been treated. Now this is that very Zainab that when we recite the Masa'ib, we think that we have to go very graphic, and only then can a person feel the pain that they went through. In reality, if we have that ma'rifah, that understanding, that why should this Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam go through this torture? Why should anyone point at them? And that is that lack of ma'rifah and understanding in us, that we don't know, we don't understand, and we haven't got the pain to know. Now one of the ulama that you've heard is Marhum Ayatullah Shaykh Nukhudaki Isfahani. He used to recite majalis. He's reciting for and then when he comes to this phrase that we have in Maqatil, Dakhalat Zainab bint Ali ala ibn Ziyad, Zainab, daughter of Ali, she entered into the majlis of Ibn Ziyad. He says, stop it, that's enough. That one sentence is more than enough for us to sit and cry. Zainab, daughter of Ali, why should she enter the majlis of Ibn Ziyad? Why should she be taken to that majlis of Ibn Ziyad? That is enough musibat for us to cry. That is that honor, that understanding, that insight people have towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Now this Zainab Kubra, who has been given the charge of this caravan from this day until they come to Medina. Here we see that she is, throughout her life, she has 7 trips. And every trip that she has, especially during the rule of her father, that was with honor, when she wanted to travel and embark on a ride, there she, on one side she had Abul Fazl al-Abbas, Ali Akbar, and all the brothers from Bani Hashim. They used to help her mount the camels. And then now today, on this day of Ashura, when she is the one, she has to help everyone mount the camel. And then when it is her turn, looks at her right, is there anyone? Looks at her left, is there anyone to help me? And this case, Zainab Kubra has to mount the camels all by herself. Zainab Kubra, her worship is amazing, just like her father, just like her brother. Here Abu Abdullah says in that wida that I want you to remember me in your night prayers. Now Zainab Kubra, when she wants to offer her prayers on this day of Ashura, that is past Ashura, she hasn't got the strength to stand. Imam Sajjad says that she offered her mustahab prayers in the sitting posture, because that Zainab is hunched and broken after Karbala. Even that little food that these mala'in they used to give to all of these prisoners, including her share of bread and water, she used to distribute that in the children. Now this Zainab Kubra, when they are moving towards Sham, amidst their journey, now these people who are escorting them, they used to lash them, they used to beat them, they used to treat them very bad, and suddenly the caravan stops. And they say that why has it stopped? Now the reason for why that caravan stopped was one of the children was crying a lot, and that is this toddler of Abu Abdullah, Ruqayya bintul Hussein. He came and he beat him and he lashed him so much he threw him down the camel, and the caravan stopped. It wouldn't move. They came to Imam Sajjad and say, why don't you move? Why doesn't it move? It won't move because one of the children is missing. And then when they go and find out that's Ruqayya, the dearest of Abu Abdullah, who has fallen from that caravan. They come to the ruins of Sham, where they have been placed for so many days there by the palace of Yazid. There too it's the same scenario, that she is the one who is taking the custody and the charge of the entire caravan. And it was the wife of Yazid, Hind. She says to Yazid that everyone has come and seen the captives who you have in the ruins, in the prisons. I haven't seen them. Yazid says, go and visit them, see them, but see that the formalities, you being the queen of the state, your formalities and your honor, your sanctity is observed all the way through. She accepts and she comes to the ruins and says that that throne was placed in the prisons, and she comes and says, who are you? To Lady Zainab. Says, I am Zainab. Where are you from? Says, from the Bani Hashim, the society in Bani Hashim in Medina. Says, Bani Hashim in Medina? Says, yes. Says, do you know the house of Zainab, daughter of Ali? Says, yes. Says, you haven't recognized Zainab, Hind? Now Hind was someone who was raised and educated by Hazrat Zainab when she was in Medina. She couldn't recognize that how they have treated, her husband has treated Zainab Kubra. Comes and there is a revolution within that palace, that how come I wasn't aware? You've got the head of the son of Amirul Mu'mineen and the grandson of Rasulullah, Zainab's brother, on my house, and I was unaware. Says, remove it just now. And after the revolution that took place in the palace of Yazid, his policies also, his tactics changed. Zainab Kubra is that great lady who, when an opportunity was given to them, Yazid comes up with a proposal, says, we'll give you this much of money and options are open to you. You can stay here if you want in Sham, in Damascus. If you want, you can go back to Medina, or if you want to go and settle down in Karbala, whatever you want to do, the proposals, they are open before you. She says that we will go back to Medina, but prior to that, we have a chance, an opportunity to cry for Abu Abdullah al Hussein, to cry for our shuhada. Over here, Yazid, he panics that if Zainab is to make a decision and then cry for Abu Abdullah, it's going to be another revolution. He gives permission for her to cry. Now says, not like that. We are a procession of Azar. Everything has to turn black. Now when we see that in all these mornings everything is black, that is something that Zainab-e-Kubra, she is the pioneer, and the credit goes to her. Now when they wanted to decided to go to Medina, Nu'man bin Bashir, he is the leader of the caravan, and says such a lavish caravan was provided by Yazid for them to return to Medina. Zainab, when she comes and sees, says, what is this? Says, this is the ride that has been availed for you to return to Medina. Says, in this caravan we are not going to go. We are in Azar, we are in mourning, and we cannot go in such lavish rides. Everything has to change to black, everything has to be in black. And it was upon the instructions of Zainab-e-Kubra, everything changed, and it was changed to black because of the Azar of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Zainab-e-Kubra is the best of the supporters of the Imams. As long as Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was there, the support that she rendered to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. After Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, it is she who saves Imamat by helping Imam al-Sajjad out of the blazing tents, and she protects him and comes to Imam and says that, what are the duty, what are the instructions, what do you say? She says that alaykunna al-farar, that you have to flee from these tents. And upon the instructions of Imam al-Sajjad, they all left and abandoned those tents to save themselves. Zainab-e-Kubra, the services that she provided throughout her life, especially after Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and the pains she went through. Now it was said that her name is Masa'ib. Masa'ib, someone who saw the most pains. She saw the tragedy of the demise of Rasulullah. She was an eyewitness to the demise of her mother. Now she is someone who takes care of her mother at the age of 5, when she has been hit, at the age of 6, when she has been severely wounded, just like Hazrat Fatima salamullahi alayha. Zainab-e-Kubra also does the same task of caring for her mother, Hazrat Fatima. Now in the last moments of her life, Hazrat Zahra, she says that Zainab, this kafur that was sent from Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, and that is to be applied after my ghusl, my ghusl has been given, and then part of it was applied for the Prophet, part of it is for my husband Ali, and 1/3 of it is mine. Says, my share of hunut is placed in that place, bring it and leave it behind under my pillow. She is the one who sees all this torture that unfolded in Medina after Rasulullah, how her mother was crushed between the door and the wall, how her brother was killed in Medina. Zainab-e-Kubra is the first eyewitness to see how her brother Imam Mujtaba alayhi salam is giving away his life. Imam Mujtaba was poisoned by his own wife. Now someone who is in need of help calls his wife first, but here Imam cannot do that because the wife, she is a killer herself. Now Imam, the first one who he calls after being poisoned is Zainab-e-Kubra. Zainab comes to the scene to help Imam alayhi salam and sees that how he is throwing up blood, calls Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, and there the funeral services of Imam Mujtaba were done. And again we see the same in Kufa, and the worst of all these afflictions that were seen and witnessed by Zainab-e-Kubra are in Karbala. The selflessness that we see with Zainab-e-Kubra is such amazing, that she is totally at the disposal and in service of Imamat of her brother, that when she wants to get married, she puts a condition in the wedlock and says that I will not marry, but with this condition and clause that I be allowed to see my brother a few times every day, and I be allowed to travel with him when he travels wheresoever. And with that condition, Abdullah bin Ja'far married Zainab Kubra. Now, this Zainab Kubra, when she is offering her children to be sacrificed for Abu Abdullah al Hussein, is such beautiful that she doesn't even look at the children, so that if she looks at them, it may be that brother Hussein, he will feel sad that her children also are being sacrificed, has no regard whatsoever on her own children. And when the children also got sacrificed and the heads were distributed later, they find that 2 heads are there which belong to someone unknown. They don't know who they belong to. And one was the head of Aoun, the other was the head of Muhammad. They come and ask us, whose heads are these? Says, these are the sons of Zainab. They come and see Zainab, she has someone else to mourn for, and that is Abu Abdullah al Hussein alayhi salam. Zainab Kubra, she is great. That is, she has sacrificed whatsoever she had, and that is in the way of her brother, in particular Abu Abdullah al Hussein alayhi salam. She witnessed all the pains and afflictions, all the masahib prior to Ashura, after Ashura, and then she is the one who saves Abu Abdullah for a few moments. If you look back into the maqtal that was recited, when Abu Abdullah al Hussein falls from his horse and there is no one to help, she is the one who rushes to the camp, to the battlefield, and comes by Abu Abdullah al Hussein. Now she makes him sit and then speaks to him until Abu Abdullah opens the corner of his eyes and says, Zainab. And it was that pleading of Zainab and that rushing of Zainab coming towards Abu Abdullah. Maqatil, they say that how she was running, that she was standing and she was falling, and she ran and she fell down, throwing that sand onto her head. She comes to Abu Abdullah al Hussein alayhi salam. Zainab Kubra, and in the last moments of her own life, that after giving such sacrifices for her brother, for deen, and in the prisons of Sham as well, we see that Zainab Kubra, with that close bond that she has with Abu Abdullah al Hussein, says that, and I'm jawaban ya Hussein amatara. Says, Hussein, why do you not reply? This is your very Zainab who used to, whenever she called you, you replied to her. Now that she is calling you, Hussein, why do you not reply? Now here ulama, they do mention that when the head of Abu Abdullah al Hussein was brought into the ruins of Sham, that noble head of Abu Abdullah, the eyes were open. And when we look into the birth of Hazrat Zainab salamullahi alayha, when she is born, the baby is given to the father, to the mother, to the Prophet, to her brother Imam Mujtaba. Her eyes are closed. She opens her eyes in the laps of Hussein ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And here in the ruins of Sham, when you see that the head of Abu Abdullah, the eyes were open and looks at every member of the caravan. But when it comes to Zainab Kubra, Abu Abdullah, he closes his eyes on the javelin, on the head, closes its eyes. Here ulama, they say that is maybe he is embarrassed, and how he wants to thank Zainab Kubra for all these services that she had provided for this caravan of Noor, this caravan of light, and that is by Abu Abdullah al Hussein alayhi salam. And even in the wasaya, that how she fulfills every wasiyat, every bit of it. One of them was when her mother giving the shirt to Zainab, saying that keep this shirt with you. The day when Hussein asks for this shirt, know that that is going to be the last day of his life, and a separation between you and him. My wasiyat, Zainab, is that I want you to kiss the neck of Hussein on my behalf, which she did. And she says that, mother, I abided by that. And after the shahadat of Abu Abdullah and the head was taken away, she comes and kisses the neck and says, mother, your wasiyat I abided. I gave the shirt to him. I kissed his neck for you. And now I also kiss the veins of this son of yours, the dearest of yours, and that is in Karbala. When we look into the ziyarat, for example, one of the ziyarat, it is the ziyarat nahiyat al-muqaddasa. There is a term, there is a phrase in this ziyarat which says فلأندبنك صباحا ومساء ولأبكين عليك بدل الدموع دما. Says, I weep upon you night and day, twice every day. Wala abkiyanna. And Imam al-Asr, he says that I cry and I shed tears of blood, not just tears. And then here says that Marhum Sultan, Marhum Haj Mullah Ali, Mullah Sultan Ali, he says that one of the very noble people, he says, once in one of the visions I had with Imam al-Asr alayhi salam, I said to him, Ya Sahib al-Zaman, this sentence that you have in Ziyarat Nahiyat al-Muqaddasa, is this crying of yours, is it for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein? He says, no. Says, is this crying of yours twice a day and shedding tears of blood, is it for Ali Akbar? Imam says, no. Says, is it for Hazrat Abbas? Says, no. For Sayyid al-Shuhada? Says, no. Says that, why do you cry twice a day and shed tears of blood? And who was it for? He says, that is for my aunt Zainab. That is, I cry for her twice a day and I shed tears of blood for my aunt Zainab every day. Now this Zainab Kubra, with all these magnificent services that she has provided to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in safeguarding this deen, and in the last days of her own life. Now this is the shaame ghareeban, or the night of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. And Abu Abdullah al-Hussein without Zainab Kubra also is incomplete. When it is the last days of Zainab's life, Abdullah bin Jafar, she didn't live long, 1.5 years after Karbala. And she says that, Abdullah bin Jafar, I cannot die under this roof, in this shade, in this cool. Take me out in the sun. Abdullah bin Jafar says, why is it that, Zainab, why shall I take you in the sun? Says, my brother Hussein died in the heat, in the sizzling desert of Karbala, in that intense hot temperature, and you want Zainab to die under this shade? That will not happen. Says that they take her out under the sun, and Abdullah bin Jafar says, I saw she has something in her hand. She hugs it, she kisses it, and she repeats it over and over again, and then she places it on her chest, and that is how she departed from this dunya. And that was that blood-stained shirt of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, in whose love she lived, and in whose love also she departed from this dunya. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها، يا الله يا الله يا الله، يا الله يا الله يا الله، يا الله يا الله يا الله. Ilahi, between us, Quran and Ahlul Bayt, never ever come across a moment of separation. This mahabbat that we have towards the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, Ilahi, increase every day, in our children to be enlisted among the best of those who are with the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Allahumma ajil fi faraji Maulana Sahib al-Zaman Matam Hussein.
हमारे प्यारों का सलाम खाक नश
يا رحمن يا رحيم. شب شام غریبان است. این شب است که باید با چشم دل برویم کربلا. امشب با چشم دل برویم کنار از زینب سلام الله علیها. امشب با چشم دل باید زینب را همراهی کرد. خیلی این مصیبت مخصوصا امروز برای زینب سخت بود. زینبی که آنقدر امروز دوید از خیمگاه تا قتلگاه، زینب صدا میزد حسین. زینبی که این مسیر تل زینبیه و برمیگشت به خیمه، زینبی که از خیمگاه به قتلگاه و در آخر آن لحظه ای که آمدن لشکریان عمر سعد خیمه ها را به آتش کشیدن، همچینی که خیمه ها را به آتش کشیدن زن و بچه ها آواره بیابان شدند. رو خاک ها و رو خارهای مغیلان زینب یک طرف دنبال سکینه می دود، یک طرف دنبال رقیه می دود، یک طرف بچه ها را دل تسلا می دهد. لذاست از همین جا حسارتی حضرت زینب شروع می شود. حاج آقا فرمودند پیشتر که امام زمان در زیارت نایه مقدسه می فرماید من در یک جا برای مصیبت به جای اشک خون گریه می کنم. فرمود اگر اشک چشمم خشک شود من به جای اشک خون گریه می کنم. در زیارت نایه مقدسه آمده است که آقا جان کجا شما به جای اشک خون گریه می کنید؟ مصیبت علی اکبر؟ گفتن نه. مصیبت آقا ابوالفضل العباس؟ فرمودن اگر عمو جانم عباسم بود خون گریه میکرد. فرمودن مصیبت جدت سید الشهدا؟ فرمود اگر جدم سید الشهدا هم بود خون گریه میکرد. پس آقا جان اون کدام مصیبت هست که شما به جای اشک خون گریه میکنید؟ آقای امام زمان فرمودن آن مصیبت اسارتی عمه جانم زینب است که حاج آقا به زبان انگلیسی فرمودن. حالا من فارسیشو برای شما تعبیر کنم. اگر جدم سید الشهدا هم بود در این مصیبت خون گریه میکرد. بیایید امروز برای مصاحبی که بر حضرت زینب سلام الله علیها استاردش از زمین امروز یعنی شروع شد، ما و شما هم با اشک چشم زینب را یاری کنیم. زینبی که همه بچه ها را جمع کرد زیر یک خیمه نمسوخته، کودکان را جمع کرد زیر یک خیمه نمسوخته، اندک خوابش برد، در عالم خواب مادرش فاطمه زهرا را دید. ای شروع کرد درد دل کردن، مادر جان جاد خالی بود، امروز کربلا نبودی. ببینی چه ها بر سرمان آمد، مادر جان یا زهرا نبوده. ببینی چگونه علی اصغرم را با تیر سیشوبه سرابش کردن. مادر جان یا زهرا نبودی، امروز ببینی چگونه دستهای برادرم عباس و از بدنش قد نمودن. مادر جان یا زهرا جاد خالی بود، امروز کربلا نبودی. ببینی چگونه سر عزیزت حسین از بدنش جدا نمودن. یا حسین یا مظلوم، جان مادر زینبم دخترم، دست رو دل مادر نگذار. من خودم امروز از صبح تا به حال کربلا بودم. اون موقعی که نانجیب میخواست سر حسینم و از بدنش جدا کند، آخ سر حسینم تو دامن مادر بود. آجرکم الله یا امام زمان، ببخشید منو نتانستم حق مجلس و با این صدای گرفته ادا کنم. زینبم خودم امروز همه رو شاهد بودم، خودم دیدم چگونه علی اصغرم به شهادت رسید، چگونه عباسم و دستاشو از بدنش جدا نمودن، چگونه سر حسینم و از بدنش جدا نمودن. زینبم اون لحظه ای که نانجیب میخواست سر حسینم و از بدنش جدا کند، آخه سر حسینم تو دامن مادر بود. ای صداش میزدم غریب مادر حسین، جواب مادر را نمیداد. هی صدا میزدم مظلوم مادر حسین، جواب من رو نمیداد. یکی از لشکریان دشمن میگه وقتی که خیمه ها رو با آتش کشیدیم همه داشتن فرار میکردن. دیدم یه دختر بچه دامنش آتش گرفته داره فرار میکنه، دنبالش دویدم تا این آتش رو خاموش کنم. میگه این دختر از من ترسیده بود هی میدوید تا خودم رو نزدیک کردم. دخترک نترس، من میخواهم آتش دامنت رو خاموش کنم. آتش دامنش را خاموش کردم تا این دختر از من محبت دید. فرمود های مرد، میشه مسیر نجف رو به من نشان بده؟ میشه بگی راه نجف از کدام طرفه؟ های دخترک راه نجف را برا چی میخوای؟ فرمود میخوام برم نجف کنار قبر جدم علی برا شکایت کنم، بگم یا جدا یا امیر المومنین. آخه نبود امروز ببینی چگونه سر بابای مظلومم حسین با لب تشنه و مظلومانه همه صدا بزنید حسین جان. حسین جان. حسین جان. همه به احترام آقا سید الشهدا از جا بلند بشید انشاءالله، ذکر نوحه‌ای تقدیم بکنیم و انشاءالله ثوابش را هدیه کنیم بروی همه اموات گذشتگان مؤمنین و مؤمنات انشاءالله. باشد که ثوابی از این جلسات ذخیره قبر و قیامتمان گردد. یا علی مدد. به گودال خون آید این زمزمه، به گودال خون آید این زمزمه. حسین جان منم مادرت فاطمه، حسین جان منم مادرت فاطمه. زیای دو عینم سرت کو حسینم، زیای دو عینم سرت کو حسینم. غریبم حسین، غریبم حسین، غریبم حسین، غریبم حسین. همه غریبم حسین، غریبم حسین. شب است و من و گودی قتلگاه، شب است و من و گودی قتلگاه. برگهای خونین نمودم نگاه، برگهای خونین نمودم نگاه. رخ از خون بشویم، رخ از خون بشویم، گلم را ببویم، گلم را ببویم. غریبم حسین، غریبم حسین، غریبم حسین. ماشاءالله. غریبم حسین. در این نیمه شب میزند مادرت، در این نیمه شب میزند مادرت. به دریای خون بو سبر هنجرت، به دریای خون بو سبر هنجرت. بگو نور دیده که دستت بریده، بگو نور دیده که دستت بریده غریبم حسین غریبم حسین اجر با سید الشهدا شد غریبم حسین من امشب کنم ناله و زمزمه من امشب کنم ناله و زمزمه گه قتلگاه و گه علقمه گه قتلگاه و گه علقمه گهی بار و بابم دو چشم پرابم گهی بار و بابم دو چشم پرابم غریبم حسین غریبم حسین همه ماشاءالله کربلا انشاءالله غریبم حسین غریبم حسین گهی در کنار علی اکبرم گهی در کنار علی اکبرم گهی پای گهواره اصغرم گهی پای گهواره اصغرم گهی بهر زینب کنم ناله امشب گهی بهر زینب کنم ناله امشب غریبم حسین غریبم حسین شامی غریبان در این نیمه شب میزند مادرت در این نیمه شب میزند مادرت به دریای خون بوسه بر حنجرت به دریای خون بوسه بر حنجرت غریبم حسین غریبم حسین غریبم حسین غریب اجرکم الله غریبم حسین من امشب کنم ناله و زمزمه من امشب کنم ناله و زمزمه گه قتلگاه و گه علقمه گه قتلگاه و گه علقمه گه بار و بابم دو چشم پرابم گه بار و بابم دو چشم پرابم غریبم حسین غریبم غریبم حسین گهی در کنار علی اکبرم گهی در کنار علی اکبرم گهی پای گهواره اصغرم گهی پای گهواره اصغرم گهی بهر زینب گهی بهر زینب کنم ناله امشب کنم ناله امشب غریبم حسین غریبم حسین غریبم حسین غریبم حسین شب غریبان سحر ندارد شب غریبان سحر ندارد سکینه امشب پدر ندارد سکینه امشب پدر ندارد غریب حسین جان غریب حسین جان همه غریب جان بهار زینب خزان زراح است بهار زینب خزان زراح است گه دو چشمش به نور ماه است، گه نگاهش به قتلگاه است، گه نگاهش به قتلگاه است. غریب حسین جان، غریب حسین جان، غریب حسین جان. اجرکم الله. نسیم صحرا شده معطر، نسیم صحرا شده معطر، ز عطر روی علی اکبر، ز عطر روی علی اکبر. کجاست عمه، کجاست مادر، کجاست عمه، کجاست مادر. غریب حسین جان، 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 غریب مظلوم یا ابا عبدالله. سلام.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein. Brothers, this Noha, this Latimia is the representation and the words from Zarat Nahiya, where Imam of a time describes his feeling of the Ashura and after events of Ashura. Keep your eyes and ears open when you're listening to them and support on this Latimia. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. I recall every day. I remember, I recall your tragedy and torture. Every day I witness calamity. Every day I witness your tragedy. I recall every day. I remember, I recall your tragedy and torture. Every day I witness calamity. Every day I witness your tragedy. When my Lord gave me my eyes, He drew on them your figure. So wherever I would gaze, your beauty I picture. But then my eyes would see the last son of Ali, alone, no family, crying, who will help me? But then my eyes would see the last son of Ali, alone, no family, crying, who will help me? And I I watch as Bibles you are circled, and I watch as my beloved is killed. Every day it's with me a memory. Every day I witness your tragedy. I recall every day I remember. I recall your tragedy and torture. Every day I witness calamity. Every day I witness your tragedy. Within the realm of your love, I awoke and I wonder. Whenever I call name, it was Zainab that answer. You call for my brother, expecting an answer. I ran between fire and he would not answer. You call for my brother, expecting an answer. I ran between fire and he would not answer. I cried out, running after his children. I cried out, wanting him to assist them. Every day I ask him to come to me. Every day I witness your tragedy. I recall every day I remember. I recall your tragedy and torture. Every day I witness calamity. Every day I witness your tragedy. I was thirsty for your love. Your name on my heart was drawn. I ask you to quench this thirst, and was met by two hands tall. Abbas came towards me, towering above me. Don't tell me you're thirsty when Hussein is thirsty. Abbas came toward me, towering above me. Don't tell me you're thirsty when Hussein is thirsty. Oh, servant, if you're in love with Hussein, oh, servant, daily you will remember. Every day Hussein's banner I carry. Every day I witness your tragedy. I recall every day I remember. I recall your tragedy and torture. Every day I witness calamity. Every day I witness your tragedy. Just like a moth to a flame, I was drawn to your beauty. You became my every thought. Loving you was a duty. But when I remember you, I would see shame. I see your head severed, raised high upon a spear. But when I remember you, I would see shame. I see your head severed, rise high upon a spear, and I weep whenever I recall you, and I weep whenever I think of you. Every day, Hussein, daily and nightly, every day I witness your tragedy. I recall every day I remember. I recall your tragedy and torture. Every day I witness calamity. Every day I witness your tragedy. Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.
شام غریباں بی بی زینب کا اپنے بابا سے فریاد. شام غریباں، شام غریباں، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا جواب دیکھیں، جواب دیکھیں. بوالحسن یا بوترا بھائی میرا قتل ہوا، آئیے بابا شتاب. بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا. لو پھیل گیا شام غریباں کا اندھیرا، اسباب لٹا جل گیا سادات کا خیمہ. بے گور و کفن رن میں ہے شبیر کا لاشا، سب مارے گئے دشت میں زینب ہوئی تنہا. اصغر بے شیر کو رونے لگی میرا باپ. بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا. ہائے وہ بہن جس کے 18 برادر، اور باپ بھی جس بیٹی کا وفات ہے خیبر. نرگے میں لائنوں کے وہ مظلوم کھلے سر، کیسے نہ کرے نوحہ وہ پھر خاک اڑا کر. نوحہ کنا خلد میں روح رسالت نوار. بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا بھائی میرا قتل ہوا، آئیے بابا شتاب. بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا. ماری گئی ایک روز میں سب فوج حسینی، ہر لمحہ مصیبت نئی ہم نے جو دیکھی. بے مونس و غمخوار تھے یا ورنہ تھا کوئی، تھا عصر کا ہنگام کے آواز یہ گونجی. مر گیا ہے در کا پسر دشت میں بے آ. بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا. کٹ کے جو گرے خاک پہ عباس کے بازو، رکتے ہی نہ تھے آنکھ میں شبیر کے آنسو. میں خیمے میں روتی تھی وہ روتے تھے لبے سو. ماتم ہی تھا، ماتم ہی تھا، ماتم ہی تھا ارجو. کہتے تھے شبیر کے یا لیتنی کنتو تراب. بوالحسن یا بوترا بھائی میرا ہوا، آئیے بابا شتاب. بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا. اب بالی سکینہ کو ستاتے ہیں ستمگر، کچھ کر نہیں سکتی کہ رسن بستا ہے مادر. پابند سلاسل ہے میرا عابد مزتر، زینب کے کلیجے پہ چلے ظلم کے خنجر. کیا کروں بابا میرے میں دیجئے کچھ تو جواب. بوالحسن یا بوترا، یا علی یا علی یا بوالحسن یا بوترا، بوالحسن یا بوترا بھائی میرا قتل ہوا، آئیے بابا شتاب. असगर को लगा तीर में रोती रही बाबा, मारे गए शबीर में रोती रही बाबा, हंसते रहे बेपीर में रोती रही बाबा, शह पे चले हम शीर में रोती रही बाबा। देखिए परदेस में किस्मत हुई मेरी ख्वार, बुल हसन या बूतुराब या अली या एलिया या बुल हसन या बूतुराब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब भाई मेरा कत्ल हुआ आइए बाबा शिताब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब। कट के जो गिरे खाक पे अब्बास के बाजू, रुकते ही न थे आँख में शबीर के आंसू, मैं खैमे में रोती थी वो रोते थे लबेजू, मातम ही तमातम ही तमातम ही तारसू, कहते थे शबीर के यो लैतनी कुंतो तुराब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब एलिया या बुल हसन या बूतुराब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब भाई मेरा कत्ल हुआ आइए बाबा शिताब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब। रेहान बहुत हो चुकी अब अश्क फिशोनी, ज़ैनब पे मुसीबत की ये पुरदर्द कहानी, सब अहले अज़ा सुन चुके सरवर की ज़बानी, थमती ही नहीं आंखों से अश्कों की रवानी, कौन सुने किस्सा गम किसमें रही इतनी ताब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब या एलिया या बुल हसन या बूतुराब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब भाई मेरा कत्ल आइए बाबा शिताब, बुल हसन या बूतुराब।
يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار، يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار، يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار، يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار، يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار شبت كم نار، يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار، نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه، نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه، يا راعي الثار يا راعي يا جبيت عمرك تحين ومعاشر الحسرة، المصايب كربلاء لولا عتي الزهرة، تبكي على الصقاط من شدة العصرة، لولا جليل رضيع من قطيع نحره، يا طفل حسين فجر كل عين عقب الجفين عقب الجفين، يا طفل حسين فجر كل عين عقب الجفين عقب الجفين، من شال حسين بيده ونحزبنا بلا وريده، من شال حسين بيده ونحزبنا بلا وريده، يا راعي الثار يا ابن الكرار يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار، يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه يا راعي الثار ضليع امك تكسر والدمع جاري الضلوع حسين كلها والجسم عار يا راعي الثار ضليع امك تكسر والدمع جاري الضلوع حسين كلها والجسم عاري اقول الصبرك يا حجتي الباري وامك فاطمه تناديك اخذ ثاري ثار العريان فوق التربان ثار العريان فوق التربان يصرخ عطشان يصرخ عطشان يا المهدي وانا الزهره وحسين الفوق الغبره يا المهدي وانا الزهره وحسين الفوق الغبره يا راعي الثار نار يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه يا راعي الثار من امك عين مسطوره وتسيلي العين وعلى الشاط عين ممروده الوجود حسين جفوف المور تضد قيدت بمر ياسين لكن عال شريعة طاحت الجفين لكن عال شريعة طاحت الجفين طاح العباس راعي النماس مفضوخ الراس مفضوخ الراس طاح العباس راعي النماس مفضوخ الراس مفضوخ الراس من ذبحه وراعي الغيره زينب خلوها بحيره من ذبحه وراعي الغيره زينب خلوها بحيره يا راعي الثار يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين يا راعي الثار إليك بابي احترق باسمي ضليع مكسور إليك بابي احترق بس لي ضلع مكسور وإلك حرقي الخيام راعي هذا المنحور وإلك حرقي الخيام راعي هذا المنحور هيتام حسين ضلت بالصحاري الدور وامك فاطمه حضرت ظهر عاشور قلب المجروح يا وليد تنوح ضامي ومذبوح ضامي ومذبوح قلب المجروح يا وليد تنوح ضامي ومذبوح ضامي ومذبوح وحسين الحزة وراسه بجدام الكافر داسه وحسين الحزة وراسه بجدام الكافر داسه يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار يا راعي الثار الله يا نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه يا راعي الثار اي غصب حقي الزكيه فاجعه كبيره هو الاكبر منها زينب راحت سيره والاكبر منها زينب راحت سيره على الناقه وتنادي وين ابو الغيره يا طفلي تصيد له بوجهه كم حيره صاحت عذبوك ضامي وذبحوك بحر خلوك بالحر خلوك صاحت عذبوك ضامي وذبحوك بالحر خلوك بالحر خلوك منيتك نور عيوني سالم وانا يذبحوني منيتك نور عيوني سالم وانا يذبحوني يا راعي الثار ايه يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه يا راعي الثار حين الجثة العطشان نحروها حجا وعمتك رقية بخدها سطروها حجا وعمتك رقية بخدها سطروها رقية على الأرض يا المهد جروها وديها مقيدة للشام يسروها رقية على الأرض يا المهد بالأيام بكى الأيتام بكى الأيتام صوت الظلام صوت الظلام زينب تشقف بيديها كل صوت اللي يضرب بيها زينب تشقف بيديها كل صوت اللي يضرب بيها يا راعي الثار يا راعي الثار يا ابن الكرار شبت كم نار الله يا راعي الثار إيه نار الباب وآلامه حرقت لحسين خيامه نار الباب حرقت لحسين خيامه يا راعي الثار الله يا حقها زينب لو تغير حالها اي والله حيرها فقد كفالها واويلا يا ام الخدر يا حقها عالعباس لو صب الدمع كان كافلها يا هالوادي مسبع يمنة العباس تلبسها درع ويسريته كانت حجة بخيالها واويلا يا ام الخدر واويلا كمل 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 يا شارب العباس كان لها غطا هسه بالبر والجيف ومربطه ليش من صاحت الكف الهبوطه يدري مو صدر القمر دقالها واويلا
قافل سالار بلا که مرا میبری قافل سالار بلا که مرا میبری از سر نشه پدرم به کجا میبری از سر نشه پدرم به کجا میبری وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا قافل سالار بلا که مرا میبری قافل سالار بلا که مرا میبری از سر نشه پدرم به کجا میبری از سر نشه پدرم به کجا میبری چه کنم با دلم چه کنم با دلم مانده اینجا دلم چه کنم با دلم مانده اینجا دلم وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا سینه سوزان مرا تو نمک میزنی سینه سوزان مرا تو نمک میزنی عمه مظلوم مرا تو کتک میزنی عمه مظلوم مرا تو تو کتک میزنی امه امرا مزن امه امرا مزن او بود جان من امه امرا مزن او بود جان من وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا جسم شریف شهدا به زمین مانده است جسم شریف شهدا به زمین مانده است بر بدن بی سرشان اسبها رانده اند بر بدن بی سرشان اسبها رانده اند آن بدنهای پاک آن بدنهای پاک شده گردان به خاک آن بدنهای پاک شده گردان به خاک وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا ای تن پاکت به زمین به سر نیسرد ای تن پاکت به زمین به سر نیسرد ظلمت شب چون برسد چه کند دخترت ظلمت شب چون برسد چه کند دخترت وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا وا حسینا اگر که دل شکسته ای حسین را صدا بزن اگر ملول و خسته ای حسین را صدا بزن یا حسین تو بر سر زانوی غم تو سر به زانوی غمی ز شرم کرده های خود چرا غمی نشسته ای حسین را صدا بزن بر محمد و آل محمد سلام
حسینم و حسینم و حسینم حسینم و حسینم و حسینم حسینم